to answer your question, I hear that a lot. I don't want to push people. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to, burn out my team. And the only way that you can do that is when you show up to them with selfish intention. So for instance, I have a business coach. I haven't had one my whole journey. I just hired her this year. For the first time I had a business coach because I didn't have an upline who challenged me. And I love to be challenged. I love to be pushed because otherwise I will sit down and I will live in the good enough. I will live in the contentment of my hard work. And I just Instagrammed this today. There's a time to inhale and there's a time to exhale. And the balance isn't at the exact same time. The balance is like weave in and out. But I know that for me, it's a daily thing. It's not a seasonal thing, because studies have shown that for people who are in those 9-to-5 jobs, what happens is they think about seasons and they're like, well, I'm going to just work my tail off in a season and then I'm going to vacation for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, or whatever they're fortunate enough to have in vacation. And they're going to then go on vacation. And what happens is they just crash during vacation. And vacation doesn't end up being anything like they thought it was. There's moments, but that's not the way us human beings need to live, is it? Us human beings need to inhale and bring in, the world's peace and love and joy. I do that through meditation. I do that through writing. And then we need to exhale in that same day. It needs to be a daily thing. So that's where that balance comes. When it comes to our teams, we need to inhale for ourselves and fill our own cups. And from that cup, whatever overflows, that's what we give. And so if you don't have a full cup, you're going to be giving from an empty cup. You're going to be giving from a half full cup. You're going to be giving from a 3/4 full cup. So can I just start by saying that? And what happens when we don't have a full cup is we get desperate, we get needy, we get pushy, we get salesy, we become the things that we'd never wanted to be in this business. And so may I just remind you that in the mornings, which is the best time, and again, I just talked about this on another Instagram post of mine, was we need to start our day full. We need to start our day and get up 1 hour early. Who's willing to do that? Because some of the most successful people will do that. And I said, no, that was the worst advice anybody gave me because I'm a night person. I'm not a morning person. And so I'm like, no, I'm a night person. Don't bug me. But then at night, what would happen is I would just get on Instagram and I was never an Instagram person until I came to Guatemala. It's the easiest way for me to just post my journey. But I would Facebook. So I would go on Facebook and I would start looking through social media and start using the excuse, well, I'm trying to be inspired. But half the time I'm not really being inspired. I'm being threatened, because we're not perfect human beings. And my insecurity would start to rise. And so I'd start to be threatened, and I would go to bed and I would maybe breathe for 5 minutes, but I had this, I don't know how long I'm awake in the day, 12 to 14 hours. And I would be like, okay, well, 5 minutes should be good now. But here I am exhaling for 12 hours and inhaling for 5 minutes. And that's not going to serve the world the way that you want to. So let me just start by saying that, if you don't mind. Secondly, from that full cup, this is where we show up with surrender. And nobody taught me this better than Sandy Alenian. We show up with surrender, and that's a powerful place, but I don't think we completely understand what it means. So I do my journaling in the morning. I do my meditation in the morning, and I write down every single day, almost, I am. So for me, I'm going for double diamond. I am double diamond. I have rock stars who come to me constantly. I bring on massive amounts of builders who are themselves rock stars, who want this as much as I do. Because here's the key, you guys. If they don't want this for themselves, then you will be dragging them. You will be pushing them. You will be overwhelming them. You will exhaust them. You will put them in this place of sacrifice. And at the end of it, they won't even know what they're pushing for. And so our job is to remind them of their power. Our job is to remind them of their rising. Our job is to remind them of their shining ability. Our job is to remind them, why are you doing doTERRA at all? What is your urgency? If you did nothing else in the next 5 years, where would you be? Would you be living in the good enough? Or would you be rising the way that the world needs you to rise? Would you be shining the way that you knew you were always meant to? And that's a different place than pushing and challenging and shoving and chasing. Does that make sense, Marina?
Totally.
Because this is, when we come into this business, we come full heart, you know, but again, if we come half heart, then we're going to give 50% of that half cup or full, you know, is the cup half full or is the cup half empty? Even if it's half full, we're coming from that half full heart, and we come in desperation. And the people who are on our teams represent something that they were never meant to represent for us. Sometimes we come to them and they represent a rank. Sometimes we come to them and they represent what that rank represents, which sometimes for us is recognition. Sometimes for us it's money. Sometimes for us it's desperation. You know, what is it that they represent for us? It should be love. And we can only feel that representation in them if we come from a full heart that's already full. Because if we come with a half heart, they represent to us filling that cup when it was never their job to fill. Our job, coming from a full cup, is to bring them our hearts completely full already, so that we can give from them our overflowing, so that everything that we give to them is fully sacrificial. It's fully giving of that place where we have more to give. We have an abundance to give, and they feel our genuine love for them and our genuine understanding of where they're at, and that place where we really try to meet them where they're at instead of trying to bring them to us.